Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Redington virtual webinar sessions. Today's topic we have from Barracuda on protecting business and remote workers from COVID-19 email threats. The session will be delivered by our senior pre-sales consultant, Mohan Kumar. In case you have any questions during the session, I would request you to please put in all your queries in the Q&A tab, and Mohan will address all of them towards the end of the session. Mohan, over to you.
Thank you, India. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session. This is an unexpected crisis, and emails being our most critical and sensitive mode of communication. And at the same time, hackers are using this situation, and we are seeing so many email threats and phishing emails, and a lot of domains being registered for malicious purpose. So let's see what are the email threats being faced, the rise of this situation, and how to overcome these threats and protect our users and our corporate resources. So this is something like no one has expected, and suddenly this COVID-19 breakouts and the way we work usually has now changed. So people and many countries, the government, they ordered to work from home. So this actually affected many of the companies to work from home, or many people even have more work, and or some people they who has to be in office to do their day-to-day work. So this has become a major change, and which is unexpected, and thus saying email becomes a more critical mode of communication in this crisis. So we have basically two types of challenges. One is a personal challenge, and other is a business challenge. Personal, like the individuals, the users, it's something new and which is not even expected, and they have this concern how long this going to last, and how long they're going to work from home, or how long they have no idea when this will become go back to normal. And people, they have a concern about their family and their work, whether they'll tackle this situation financially, and they have some distracted workers as well. And if you talk about business, all once people started working from home, their only mode of communication become virtual, and they'll have to share documents between them. So they're relying on cloud sharing, and increase of using document sharing and email document sharing through email, it's been increased. And more whenever the user have more distraction and anxieties, so that comes hacker have more chance of using this distraction, and make the user more susceptible to the email attacks. So there was a study, and recently, apart from usual type of attacks like injections and putting some malicious payloads, or sending an attachment, or providing a URL which takes you to the malicious website, which can steal the cookies of the user so that the hacker can gain the user access using the stolen cookies. But nowadays, the social engineering becomes a vital part. So the email doesn't even have attachment or any kind of malicious files or any URLs. It will simply contains text. So what happens? The traditional email gateway or email security, which is already deployed, won't able to detect these type of attacks. And attacks based on social engineering were increased almost 93% as per study done by Verizon DBIR in 2018. Let's see a couple of examples of what kind of email attacks will come. So this is a traditional email security. We have a email gateway which will protect from the spam and malware attachments, or any URL containing phishing sites. And even if there is any zero-day attack, any new type of file is coming in, and which might be a ransomware or something, they'll have a sandboxing, and this sandboxing might help you to simulate the particular file, and it will protect from any type of zero day. and before even if it is getting to the user, you'll have hundreds and thousands of policies, whitelisting IPs, blacklisting IPs, domains, email address. So your gateway, existing gateway, whether it is Barracuda email gateway or any other email gateway, will be capable of doing the same. So apart from this, so we have the latest threat, especially rising due to this COVID-19 situation, like brand impersonation, business email compromise, distracted email, purchased credential, personal accounts, conversation hijacking, and account takeover. I'll show a couple of examples from these social engineering attacks. So these social engineering attacks are spear phishing, like they are the targeted attacks. The hacker knows there is an organization, and these organizations are capable of doing these things, and they know the email IDs of the financial guy, or even the top guy, or even the normal sales guy through social engineering tactics, and they target those particular audience, and they'll send email or like a genuine email. So you, as a normal users, the email you cannot differentiate whether it is coming from a hacker or it is coming from a genuine. So we'll see a couple of examples. So as the situation rises, if you see a couple of months back, the number of domain registration was normal, but during this COVID-19, as the pandemic happens, the number of registration were suddenly in the peak. The main reason, it's like many organizations, they are trying to help, like they are putting necessary information to help the people or help the organization to take necessary action, and they'll have a useful information. And there are a couple of sites who are only using the domain registration for malicious content, mainly for the phishing attacks. And even the phishing attacks been increased. If you see in Jan, February, and the number of phishing attacks were like pretty much normal, but the first week and second week of March, there was a peak in the phishing number of phishing attacks over email. So and even there are kits available for the hackers. Even you can download one particular kit where you can simulate a phishing, and you can test it, and it's been sold out in the black market as well. So if you can check on the deep web, you can find a lot of phishing kits available for sale. And these are the types of attacks. So if you see the business email compromise, it's been significantly much less than using the social engineering attacks. And if you see nowadays, we are getting so many emails requesting for donation, and offering to sell face mask and gloves, or and using this crisis. So some might be genuine, but most of it would be like trying to be steal something. Like for an example, they are taking advantage of the this situation. And this is one of the example. If you see the email, which is from the World Health Organization, and they are simply saying like using the fast forwarded attached Dropbox link for recent COVID situation. So every country, they are also sending their people what are the necessary action to take, and how to protect ourselves during this situation. So when someone receives an email from WHO, they'll simply think like it's a genuine email, and they'll tend to click on the URL. So this actually, so how you differentiate? So if you manually check all these things, if you see the from address, it's who.org. And actually the WHO website is who.int. So when user receives this email during this crisis, they have no reasons to think like it is a malicious intent. So they'll simply think like it's a genuine email from WHO, and they'll trust the email, and they'll start following whatever that's been said on the email. And the link which has been sent, it's of course a phishing site. So if the user by any chance, by mistake, or unknowingly click on this link, and it might ask to reset a password or enter his email username and password to confirm or something. Once the user does it, the hackers will gain access or get the credential, and the account will be taken over so that the hacker can able to use the victim's email ID for his own malicious content. So this is one form of social engineering. So in this way, it can lead to multiple attacks. So for an example, a user thought this is a genuine email, and he clicks on the link and he put his email username and password. So the hacker will gain his username and password. So what will happen? The hacker will log in email account using his username and password, and he can able to see all his organization email. So he can send some email to his finance requesting for a salary loan, or asking to fund transfer to his partner account or something like that. So there is a loss of data as well as a loss of brand as well. So now the hacker are targeting these type of big brands like Microsoft, FedEx, Amazon, UPS. So when people are getting email from Amazon or Microsoft saying like Amazon, they have a offer selling face mask, or selling gloves, or having a secure kit, medical kit, people tend to buy it, and they won't challenge, like they won't even think like it's a malicious thing. But in fact, hacker will use these brands to impersonate their identity, to tackle the user, to make them trust like it's coming from a genuine resources. And there is another example. So it's for a business email compromise. So if you see how you will identify, so you will see always urgent request as a subject, and there is a change in the payment. So this is usually we won't get any payment request change in the email or something like that. But during this situation, even if the user receives any email, they'll think like there is a change in request of payment because of this crisis. So the user tend to do it though. So if you even try to manually block these kind of emails, it will be tedious. Even the admin might not know whether this is coming from a genuine source or it is from a malicious source. Another example, it's a conversation hijacking. So let's take from my previous example. So the hacker sent a phishing email and gained access to the email account. So what he can simply do is he can take any one of the existing conversation and put a reply to the same email with the same subject, and saying like there is a invoice been sent and there is a payment pending, and request to pay immediately. So this, when the targeted recipient receives, he will think like it's from a genuine resource, and he will start processing the payment, and without even knowing this is coming from a hacker. And there are a couple of security challenges today. So there are a lot of spear phishing attacks exploiting the crisis today, and the employees are easily falling to these type of attacks. And the main reason it's like lack of resource for the incident response. So if you have Barracuda incident response, you can simply enable it, and these can be automated. And the people users, they are distracted, and because they are currently working in the way they are not used to work. So this is something it's new for the employee as well, and they might not know what is genuine and what is not. So and this will lead to like data loss, whether by mistake or by malicious intent. So the user sitting at home browsing through his shared files and folders might accidentally delete some files. So this can be one of the data loss. So the user is not intent to do it, and they just need a business continuity for email as well. So let's see what are the best practice we can do during this tackling this crisis. So when we say to keep the business secure, we have three main things. One is the technology, people, and the business continuity. Technology, we already, most of the companies, they have their own perimeter protection. They have their own existing email gateway, and the existing gateway might not be enough for protecting attacks from these crises. So there has to be a spear phishing detection, and this has to be automated. So the admin cannot manually check each email in the logs, and if the company is having more than 2,000, 5,000 users, it will be a very difficult task for the admin to manually select the messages and block it and make it as spam or block the particular domain. The source email address or source domain might differ, the source IP might differ. So the manually doing such things will be a tedious task, and it will be next to impossible. And not only the detection, the response also has to be automated. So the moment something is detected, malicious content, so there should be a response automated, like block the particular domain or blocking the mail being delivered to the user. And of course, the encryption and DLP. So many of the existing gateway will still have DLP and encryption features. So one thing we'll have to make sure, this is like to go back to our policies and rules and make sure the encryptions are enabled for critical and sensitive emails, and DLP is enabled for wherever it's necessary. And next thing is the people. So most of the incident occurs mainly because of the people, and people are the main resources for the company. So we'll have to take precautions to make sure the users are educated well, and they have to know the differentiate between secure or genuine emails and from a phishing email. So there has to be a security awareness training, and especially during this crisis, so each user should be aware, like even by mistake or unknowingly click any malicious or any malicious payloaded websites. And there is also a chance to have a phishing simulation. So the admin can simulate some phishing emails, and there are tools available. Even Parakuda has their own phishing simulation tool. So the admin can simulate phishing emails sent to the user and see how the user reacts. If the user really saying like it's a phishing email, or they are simply uh, uh, avoiding that and they are just taking it. So based on that, you can have your own security awareness program for your users. And the most important thing, it's a business continuity, whether this crisis or not. So the business has to run. Like if the user deletes some files or data unknowingly or by mistake, so the company has to make sure there is enough backup, even if it is done intentionally or without unintentionally. They'll have to make sure there is a backup of the data and there is a continuity of the emails. And so, as a traditional gateway, you'll have the reputation filter, like you can block IPs, domains, and email addresses, and we can also make sure the content filtering by enabling putting some particular keywords and making sure the advanced threat protection is enabled for any type of malicious file or zero-day attacks. And apart from this, there are a lot of increase in social engineering attacks. So how you enable the protection for attacks coming from social engineering? So we should be having API-based technology. So Barracuda has this tool which is API-based, and this API will be integrated with Office 365 for each mailboxes. The reason behind is there is something called identity graph with Barracuda. So this API will know the behavior of each users, whether these users sending email from a particular location, or they are sending to a particular set of email addresses, and how usually they keep their name. If it is John, they are keeping a John, or they're keeping a full name. So the API will learn all these things, and they'll have identity graph for each and every users. And this will enable what the traditional gateway is missing. So let's see some of the examples. So this is the identity graph. So as I mentioned, this API is capable of checking what document types the user is sharing, and what time he is usually sending his email, responding to his email, and what name has been used, and what application he is using in the email, whether any attachment he is using on a regular basis. The main reason is any deviation. If the account is compromised and the hacker is trying to take advantage of this particular user, and any deviation happens, and if it is detected like the mail has been sent from a different location, or untrusted placed, or how you will detect. So if it is in a traditional gateway, there will be like thousands rules and hundreds of policies. So this might miss these details. So this API will help to check even the minor or significant changes of these identity graph. And based on this graph, any deviation occurs, it will know like the code has been compromised, and it will take the necessary actions automatically. And the automated, usually when something happens, the IT admin, you pretty much take like more than 4 hours to resolve, or to come up with a remediation. So this using this 4 hours, the hacker will have more time to have control, or to gain access to the target data, or whatever they are intent to do. So in this situation, we should have a faster threat hunting, and should know the identity of scope of attack, and there has to be automated remediation to minimize the time taken for the remediation. And so once 0 day, or many new attackers coming in this time, so the gateway, or the tool which supports to, or the API which is supposed to protect the spear phishing, should able to detect it as well as respond it. So that once it does that, it will have a fingerprint of this attack, and this attack will be avoided in the future. So if any similar type of attack happening in the future also, it need not take much more time. It will use the previously detected signature and apply it, and you will have the remediation in place within minutes. And the most important thing is the training. So the user should have knowledge on the security awareness and what email is phishing. And this is the generic example for a phishing email, so which can be obtained from the Barracuda library. So the admin now has a need to make the user more trained, and more awareness on the security happening during this crisis. So we have these two things: data protection and email continuity. So we nowadays companies are relying mostly on the Exchange for their communication, and SharePoint and OneDrive for the file sharing, and they are depending on the team. So there are a lot of files and data being shared using these SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. So they has to be protected, and even if it is accidental, or it's malicious deletion. And email continuity, it's a business critical thing. And if the customer is already having Barracuda, you can simply go and enable the email continuity. And you should have a checklist, like we'll have to make sure whether the whatever communication we are having, it's secure enough. So we can make sure whether we have evaluated the spear phishing attack. So the only thing, you can make use of the free Barracuda tool, which is on the cloud. You can simply put your 365, link your 365 credentials in the Barracuda tool, so that it will run its scan, and it will give you a report like these many attacks has already happened in the past, and with the existing email boxes. Okay, to go to the tool, all you have to do is go to scan.barracudanetworks.com, then you can link your Office 365 account over there. And you will have to leverage automated tool for any incident response, rather the admin doing that manually. And you'll have to have a security awareness program for the users on a regular basis, so that the users are educated not to fallen into any traps of any malicious content. And also, if your existing gateway is having encryption and DLP policies, now it's a time to go back and ensure whether the encryption are in place and DLP policies are set for wherever it is necessary. And the crucial thing, it's like to have a backup, whether you have a on-prem or you have the cloud-to-cloud backup. It is the time to make sure the backup is in place, and you have, if something happens, you already have data in your backup, even whether it is a accidental delete or malicious intent. And finally, there should be a email continuity. For an example, if your email server it's gone down, so you should nowadays we are relying on the email communication, and if your email server is down, and we should make sure the continuity is there. So with Barracuda, you can simply enable the email continuity. So Barracuda will act as a email server on the cloud, and so to give you time to fix your email servers. And that's it from me. So if you have any questions, you can always put it on the Q&A section. If you have any queries, you can always write back to us, and we can help you as much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining today's session.